on vegetarianism at the end, how to do the GAPS diet as a vegetarian. So, Roman numeral 1, let's just get right into the key points to remember about the GAPS diet. So before we go through the stages, I just want to, some of this might be review, some of it not, but I want to just go through some of the key points here to remember as we're going to progress through these stages of the GAPS diet. A, you want to have a long-term focus. We, of course, have developed a system of healing in America, of medicine, where everything's kind of a quick fix or a magic pill. And the example I always give people is that it takes time. Usually, I'm not saying in every case, but usually health issues, especially chronic health issues, develop over time. So when you have a major bowel disorder, or you have an autoimmune disease, or some other type of a major chronic illness, chances are it did not happen overnight. Chances are it developed over time. Now you might feel like, well, I was perfectly healthy and then all of the sudden, but it's usually not all of the sudden. Usually the all of the sudden is when the symptoms started. Usually there was a lot going on for years before those symptoms hit you, or at least the major ones that cause enough discomfort for you to actually potentially need to do something about it because it was affecting your life. A lot of times we have symptoms that don't seem to affect our daily lives and we just kind of live with them. So we really want to have a long-term focus. It takes time for the body to heal, but praise God, He created a body that's a self-healing mechanism and it's designed to heal itself. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. The sooner you can get started, the better, especially when it comes to children. So if a child has a known issue and a parent knows what to look for, so for example, if they have eczema, psoriasis, if they have this knowledge and this information, they can get started on a program like GAPS and actually see the child healed very, very quickly. If they don't understand this, oftentimes they just do a steroid cream or whatever the doctor recommends, kind of covers up the symptoms, don't address the diet, and then problems develop later on, and then it's much more challenging and much more difficult to heal the body. So you want to catch it as early as possible. Paragraph B, we find that GAPS absolutely works best when the entire family is involved. There's situations where I've seen where there's one person doing the GAPS diet and the rest of the family just isn't interested at all. Now, I can understand that because it's quite a lifestyle change for the person having to do the GAPS diet, but I think it's very important that the family sit down, have a family meeting. The spouse needs to be on board, the children should be on board, because if you don't, and one person is eating a set of meals, GAPS friendly, and the other family members are eating something different, it can create isolation within the family unit, and that's never a good thing. Now, there's no reason we can't learn to find amazing, healthy, tasting recipes. That's the fun thing about the GAPS diet, is it tastes good. There's really awesome food involved with the GAPS diet. And you might be able to just make some minor tweaks for your family. They might not be full 100% introduction diet only, bone broth soups only. You know, you might be able to make some tweaks here and there where they can add a few things in that they enjoy. They might not have to be as strict as you know, one specific individual who's on the GAPS diet. But you definitely want the whole family on board and involved. That really just makes it a whole lot easier for everyone involved. A fun little thing you can do is you have a family meeting about it, decide how you want to proceed, and just ask everybody in the family, what are your favorite foods? And make sure you find a way to implement them into the GAPS diet. Now, if the favorite food is Skittles, that could be a challenge. But if the favorite food is ice cream or other desserts, you can absolutely implement that stuff. At a certain stage in the GAPS diet, there are healthy ways to have snacks and desserts and sweets and things like that. So you want to encourage your family that there are fun ways to follow like a healthy program like the GAPS diet. So paragraph C, a key to healing is removing the burden from the system. So we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I just want to reemphasize this point, that the reason the GAPS diet works, one of the reasons the GAPS diet works, is it takes the burden off of the system. As I mentioned earlier, health issues seem to develop over time. It takes years of the body dealing with these certain elements of our food and our environment environment and environmental toxicity, etc., that causes the problem, and to allow the body the time and the ability or even the chance to heal, you got to take the stress off it. So getting the standard American diet foods out, cleaning up maybe your house and the toxic cleaning supplies, maybe the makeup that you're using, maybe the clothes you're wearing. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can impact our health. So the GAPS diet removes a lot of the stressors from the intestinal tract and gives the body a chance to heal. We also usually need some healing to occur in the different glands and organs. So the liver, the pancreas, adrenals, thyroid, etc. They all are going to need some relief to have the chance and the ability to heal. And there's a belief out there, I think, that we need to eat a lot of food. We've kind of gotten in the habit in America, especially, of eating lots of meals, overeating, and eating till we're full. And the body really doesn't need as much food as we would think. What we really need is nutritious foods. We need nutrient-dense foods. There's a lot of books that have been written by people who have lived with other cultures, and they find that one of the things that they all have in common is they all eat a relatively nutrient-dense diet, but they all eat relatively small meals. They don't eat huge meals. I think one of the reasons that happens in America is we're not getting a lot of nutrition in our food. We're eating a lot of the empty starches, empty calories, the sugars, the breads, the pastas, and there's no nutrition in it, so the body continues to be hungry because it's not getting fed real nutrition. So the goal is to make the intestinal tract a river of life to absorb nutrition, to heal the body, and to not be a river of toxicity. The classic example I like to give is the clogged pipe in your house. You have pipes running into your house, and if they get blocked up, what do? Well, you have a couple of different options. Most likely, you're not just going to rip out the pipe. You're actually going to try to clean out the pipe and get it functioning the way the pipe was designed. And that's the same thing with our bodies. We have to take the burden off of our system and let it get cleaned out so that it can function the way it was originally designed. So paragraph D, where do I start? So let's talk about who would ideally start with the introduction diet and who might want to start with the full GAPS diet. The introduction diet is going to be the best place for the majority of people. Anyone with any type of diarrhea, extreme chronic constipation, I call this when you're having a bowel movement every 7 to 10 days, autism, Down syndrome,